All right, my friends, and welcome to Saturday morning. It's the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. We tried going live on Monday with the Start Spreading the News podcast, and that didn't work. We had all sorts of technical issues, so I'm trying again with some new and updated technology and hoping, as I pre-record the Dr. Sem Yankees Show, that we have no issues. Of course, if you're watching this, that means we have no issues because I was able to record the show without any drop of signal. So let's hope. I'm hoping. As we begin every show, let's make today a great day. And how do you make your day great? Well, my dear friends, it's simple. You look around the world, you see all the good that's out there, and you bring it in to your heart, and you cherish it in your heart. If you take the time to look around the world and see the good and cherish the good, you can't help but make your day great. But I know there are times when people say, "Oh, Dr. Sem, there's no good. There's nothing good in the world. Nothing at all. I can't find one possible thing that's good that I can cherish in my heart." Okay. You have within yourself the ability to do good and to make good. So do something nice for someone else. Donate your time. Donate money. Write a letter. Say hello to a neighbor. Do something nice. Create good. And if you create good, then there's good. And then you can cherish that good in your heart. And you'll find that the more you notice the good and cherish the good, the more good will appear in your life. If we go around our lives looking for goodness and creating goodness, primarily, though not always and not in every situation, but primarily our lives will be surrounded with good. Remember, when you give love, it will come back to you in greater amounts than you ever gave. Okay, my friends, as you know, this program is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia is an outstanding and wonderful publisher that has published many of my books, including Roy White's autobiography, From Compton to the Bronx, The highly motivational, 365.2. If you need motivation, read that book. The great Yankees book, The Least Among Them. I need a new graphic for this one, but my newest Yankee book, which is getting great rave reviews, The Greatest New York Yankees by Uniform Number. And, of course, the greatest novel ever written, Scattering the Ashes. If you have not read Scattering the Ashes, your life is incomplete. So do the right thing and get a copy of Scattering the Ashes to complete your life, to make it that you've read the greatest novel ever written. And maybe you'll say it's not the greatest novel. I read it and my life isn't complete, but I think it's a pretty darn good novel. Read it, and I think you'll enjoy it. Also available on audiobook. The Least Among Them and Scattering the Ashes are available on audiobook. Scattering the Ashes, the audio was recorded by me in a studio in New York City. So let's talk Yankees. My goodness, let's get to it. 5 minutes in, and we haven't mentioned the Yankees. They won on opening day on Wednesday night. That was fun. The coverage on Netflix, not so much. I was able to go to my son's house and watch the show, watch the game, at least for a little bit, because I don't have Netflix and I'm not buying a streaming service just to watch a Yankee game. If the Yankees want to take the games away from me, well, then they can. Bye-bye. That's how I feel. And I think it's a short-sighted strategy that the Yankees, Major League Baseball, many of the other sports are following. Let's take games away from fans. Well, that's not how you create a fan base, by making your product harder to get. I wrote a great article on Start Spreading the News just a few days ago, and it's called Where Are the Yankees? Or Yankees TV Frustrations. And I talk about how the Yankees are on about 400,000 different channels. The common fan isn't going to watch the Yankees. And then what's going to happen is the Yankees are going to eventually say, we don't understand why people aren't following us, because you put the game on so many different outlets that no one knows where to even watch the game. And secondly, many of the games, including most Wednesday nights, are on a streaming service. Well, I'm not paying for a streaming service. So, you know what that means? That means I'm going to miss those games. And there's going to be lots of fans like me that miss those games. When you take the game away, the fans don't have an opportunity to see it. It's just penny wise, pound foolish, short-term success versus long-term sustainability. And they're going to hurt the long-term sustainability. But the Yankees won. I didn't think Netflix coverage was very good. We had the sound down because I was talking with my son, but the pregame stuff with some guy yelling all the time, you can just see, and all that. They're trying to hype it up. All that hype is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. You don't need to bring the product to this other level of screaming and yelling and cable cars and dancing people on taxis. And this is baseball. They don't have to try to be the NFL. When you try to be something you're not, it just makes it even more readily apparent that what it is you're trying to be, you're not. Baseball is a pastoral game. Football is not. Football can have all that hype. Baseball doesn't need it. The true baseball fan doesn't need it. And the people tuning in to watch a baseball game don't want any of that. It's unnecessary. Just put the game on. You know, I was talking to my wife the other day. We were watching something on TV. I don't watch much TV, but the commercials just seem to get more and more and more absurd. And I was watching a product where the commercial was absolutely silly. It was, I think it was for Chick-fil-A, and they had some cow dressed up, some person dressed up like a cow dancing around and people bouncing. And I'm saying, Every time I go to a Chick-fil-A, virtually every time I pass a Chick-fil-A, there's a line out the drive-through that takes a long time for people to even get their food. Yet they're willing to wait on that long line for their food. Why is that? Because their product sells themselves. So they don't have to make commercials that are inane and make no sense just to draw attention to their product, which is already, based upon the evidence that I always see when I drive past a Chick-fil-A, the product which is already highly esteemed. If you're going to get fast food, many people go to Chick-fil-A because they like the product. So I said to my wife, I said, if I were the CEO of that company, rather than being silly and inane, I would just have a normal commercial. Put a picture of the sandwich up there. Have the CEO or an executive of the company sit in front of a camera and just say, "Hi, I'm the executive of Chick-fil-A. And as you know, we have the greatest fast food chicken. This week we have this product, or this month we have this product," or just tell them. And the people will flock in. You don't need to get silly and try to appeal to an audience or capture attention in weird ways that are just off-putting. It just, like, why? Why do you need to insult my intelligence to try to make me buy fast food chicken? It made no sense. And I see that with a lot of products. And that's what I saw with the opening day festivities. People running around, screaming, jumping, all for no purpose. You already have a great product. It's Major League Baseball. You don't need to try to make it something it's not. You don't need to try to insult the audience by dropping the standards to some inane, silly, crazy level. Just sell the game. We are baseball. We have the best sport. We don't need all those gimmicks. I've said this before as well. It's difficult to go to a Yankees game now. I went to a game last summer, and from the very first pitch, they started with noise, sound effects, let's get loud, rock and roll music. And I love music, but rock and roll music and just at the highest decibels. I was sitting next to my son, and we could barely talk because the noise was just so loud. It was off-putting. You don't need to do that. People go to a ball game to watch a ball game. They don't go to a baseball game to get hyped up after one pitch in the first inning. They're trying to find a demographic or an audience that they don't need. That's instead of trying to find this audience of people that want to just be getting littered with noise for hours in a stadium, they're turning off the people that actually go to the stadium who want to watch a baseball game. They have a great product. Let the product speak for itself. Just put baseball on TV and the fans will come. But put baseball on TV where the fans know where to find it. And don't take it away and put it on some streaming service. Now, sometimes I write stuff and people say, "Oh, you're not a Yankees fan. This guy's not a Yankees fan." This guy's not a Yankees fan. My goodness, I've watched probably 90% of the Yankee games since 1977. I write a Yankees blog. I put up 3 articles a day, me and my writers, and have been doing it since 2017. I have bookshelves full of Yankees stuff. I've read virtually every Yankees book that's out there. I love the Yankees, but that doesn't mean we can't be critical of them. But I love the Yankees, but I'm not going to give them or some streaming service lots of money to watch a product that they used to give me for free, and now they're taking it away. I'm just not going to do it. I don't make people pay to read Start Spreading the News, and I never will. People watch podcasts for free. You can watch this for free. What you do if you have content is you give it to others so they can consume it. You don't take it away from them. I've pushed back against some of my favorite online baseball writers over the years, whose articles I would read all the time. I would look forward to their articles. And numerous of them went behind paywalls. So I stopped reading them. It was that simple. There are certain online newspapers that are putting tons of their content behind paywalls. So you know what I've done? I've stopped reading it. I used to have an article that I would create every week on Start Spreading the News on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. called Yankees Links. And I would link tons of articles. I can't write that article anymore. I can't put that post up because it's hard to find enough free content. So instead of me helping to drive people to various websites to read great authors writing stuff, I don't. And lots of people don't read them anymore. I just don't understand this idea, like in order to create a bigger audience, I'll reject the audience I have. I'll turn off the people who already like my product. I'll chase them away for a few extra dollars. I just don't get it. But hey, that's me. All right. So the Yankees did win. I'm looking at the clock here. We're 17 minutes in. The signal has not dropped yet. I might have figured this out. So what I might do is record the Start Spreading the News show in advance for Monday night. We'll see. And then maybe try live again. It's frustrating when you try to go live and it doesn't work. And we just, as I said last Monday night, we just killed the program. I said to EJ, it's just not working. The signal's dropping more and more. As we got deeper into the show, we couldn't watch, and I couldn't even talk to each other. And I said, this is just silly. So that's a pain. So hopefully we fix the technological issues. With EJ, I was going to walk through the Yankees stats from 2025, and we just started saying this guy's going to be worse or better. And I wrote an article on Start Spreading the News and it ran on Thursday, where I do believe there's a lot of good that could happen. Now, those who listen to me and have watched this for years know that I am of the mind that I want the Yankees to go big always. They're the Yankees. That's what brings fans to the Yankees. This idea that they are always going for it, always trying to be the best. They haven't done that for a long time. Their new model, which isn't working if you're trying to win World Series because they haven't won them, has been, let's try to be a little bit better than pretty good rather than let's try to be great. And we've talked at length about the chasm that exists between those two philosophies. And the Yankees this year are trying to be a little bit better than pretty good. But even with that, if you look down the roster, there's a lot of people, a lot of players to be excited about. And I was saying this on the Start Spreading the News show. If Garrett Cole comes back, and if Carlos Rodon comes back, and if they're both effective, and if Cam Schlittler is a top pitcher, and if Max Fried stays healthy, and I can never quite say his name right, but Carlos Lagrange, if he is the real deal, those are some dynamite pitchers. No team, if those pitchers are all on their game, would want to go into a short series and face the Yankees. That's just a fact. So the idea of let's just make it to the playoffs and see what happens is actually not a terrible strategy if you have that starting staff, which is got to be the best starting staff ever assembled, at least in recent memory, for these short series. One ace after the next, after the next, after the next. That should put the Yankees in a great chance to give the Yankees great opportunity to keep winning these short series because you have just phenomenal starting pitching. And I believe that David Bednar is going to be a top closer. I know he's had his struggles, but he just seems like he's going to fit in New York. He's got that bulldog mentality. He's going to go out there and, you know, a lot of sports is just having the confidence in your own abilities and just going out there and doing it. And I think Bednar is going to be one of these guys that just enjoys taking the ball and pitching on the mound at Yankee Stadium and pitching for the Yankees. And I think the Yankees and their fans and everyone is going to be very confident with him as the closer. And I've always felt like, I know the Yankees, a lot of people say their bullpen's in question, but the Yankees, even in the Aaron Boone era, have always figured out their bullpen. So going around the rest of the lineup, Austin Wells should hit. The excuses that he hasn't hit yet are that he's been injured. Okay, well, let's have a season where he's not injured. He's supposedly not injured. So if he can hit, this would be the year he's going to hit. Ben Rice seems to have shown last year that he's a legitimate major league hitter. Jazz Chisholm had a 30-30 season last year. I think Caballero at shortstop is going to show that Anthony Volpe's not going to have a job when he comes back. Ryan McMahon is a solid defender at third, something the Yankees haven't had. And if all the other players around him hit, the Yankees don't necessarily even need Ryan McMahon to hit. Cody Bellinger's a star. Aaron Judge is one of the great players of his generation, if not all time. Trent Grisham, you could make the argument, I don't really buy it, but you could make the argument that Trent Grisham figured it out last year and he's going to have another 25 to 30 home run season. And his defense suffered last year, but the word is that he was injured. So if he's 100% healthy, he should bring even better defense. And if he figured out how to hit, a power bat. Giancarlo Stanton, if he can stay healthy, is of course a presence in the lineup. The problem is that he never stays healthy. And then he goes through these periods of weeks on end where he strikes out all the time. And then waiting in the wings, you have Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. And while there's questions about their games, their upside is undeniable. And so there is a world where the 2026 New York Yankees go out there and are extremely impressive and have a huge year. Now, of course, there's the negative aspect of that. Maybe Austin Wells can hit. Maybe Caballero isn't a starting shortstop. Maybe Volpe comes back and he still proves he can't hit. Maybe Ben Rice had just a good year last year, and that's not who he really is. Maybe Jazz Chisholm is overwhelmed by the pressure of playing for a contract. That happens sometimes. A few years ago, everybody said Gleyber Torres is going to have a big year. It's his contract year. And he had a terrible year. Maybe Trent Grisham had a 1-year spike. Maybe Ryan McMahon and his lack of offense really hurts the Yankees. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that could happen. Maybe David Bednar is the pitcher who got sent to the minors last year. Maybe Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon are never truly healthy. Maybe the young pitchers who the Yankees expect to rise turn out to be mirages. And of course, the Yankees don't have a great manager. Aaron Boone has been a Yankee manager longer than anybody by far without being able to win a World Series. He's never shown the ability to match up well against the best managers in the game and the best teams. And so that is an Achilles heel. But maybe, just maybe, he has figured it out. Maybe this is the year that Aaron Boone is the leader that the Yankees thought they hired, in 2018 to lead this club forward. So it's going to be interesting. And oh my goodness, this is what happens every year. You get optimistic. It's early in the season, and there's a lot to be excited about. And hopefully all of those good things come true for the 2026 New York Yankees. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. It looks like I made it. No drop signal, 26 minutes in. I want to thank everybody for watching. Check out Start Spreading the News. We put up 3 articles every single day. It is the greatest Yankees site. Let's go Yankees. Have a great day, and I'll see you again very soon.